They call me the Dog Father, king of the West Coast, and I was born to defy society.
Hey there, winos. This is Vince.WINE. That's right, today we've got Snoop Dogg's Cali Red 19 Crimes. We're gonna pop the cork on this really cool bottle on today's Wine Lab Celebrity Edition. Hey, thanks for joining me. And before we get started today, if you want to be a winoceros, hit subscribe on this channel to become a wino today. I'll put out new videos every single Saturday, so be sure to hit that bell icon to stay notified for more great wine content. I first came across 19 Crimes a couple weeks ago when I was in Walgreens. It was just sort of a label that really stood out to me, and my point in that video was just to see the quality of wines featured in Walgreens. I didn't even realize at the time that the wine had living labels that actually spoke to you. And then before you know it, I find out they've done a really cool label featuring Snoop Dogg. So today we're definitely gonna take some time and check this out. And before we pop the cork on this, let's take a second just to check out the website. Okay, let's go to 19crimes.com. All right, so right away, it just starts with Snoop Dogg right there on the feature. So this is probably their newest wine release, and my only option is available now. Let's click there, see what happens. Perfect, and it starts us, wow, right away with, again, 19 Crimes, Snoop Dogg Cali Red, full, dense, strong black and blue fruit notes up front. Yeah, Petite Syrah, Zinfandel, okay, so we know it's gonna have those two varietals at least. Dark and toasty, and a slightly sweet finish. And I do recall that some of these wines tend to have more than a slightly sweet finish. I would say they have maybe like a very sweet finish, so we'll take a look and see just exactly how sweet this ends up being. One other cool thing, you can see this wine is only $12. That's a really good buy. Try not to buy it from like a 7-Eleven or like a low-end liquor store because they tend to hike the prices. A friend of mine picked up the bottle, ended up paying $18 for it, so it does go for about $12. I would try to find it in that price range. Okay, true creative defiance. 19 Crimes is defiant by nature, bold in character, and uncompromising. Snoop Dogg is a culture creator, innovator, and a leader in pop culture. All right, so this totally goes with their whole story of just being like this rebellious sort of brand there. Okay, let's go to the menu and see what other wines they have here. The Gang. All right, cool. So these are sort of all of their feature labels, and they tell a little bit of the story for each one of them. Again, you can just go to 19crimes.com and check out the stories here. And all of these are gonna have that living label that talks to you, and I assume just share with you a little bit about who these criminals were. Let's check out the wines. The Warden, the Banished Dark Red. Okay, so they have a really great selection here. Ooh, they do a Pinot. What else do they have here? And the red blend is the one that I tried out. This is the one that I had before. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see me check out some more of these wines, and I can show some of the stories of what's happening here and just check out the overall quality level, I suppose, depending on how much I like this one today. Okay, cool. So clicking on the 19 Crimes tab just really goes into sort of the story of what the 19 Crimes are, how that came to be in Australia, what the 19 Crimes were even, and how anybody who was an offender of these crimes was punished. Oh yeah, and this just goes back to when how Australia was colonized with the British who were guilty of these crimes, and they would be transported to Australia. That was the punishment. Let's go to the corks because that is supposed to be some really cool artwork on there, and I want to check that out. Okay, there are 19 corks, one for each of the 19 crimes a person could commit to be sentenced to punishment by transportation. The corks, which are randomly distributed with the bottles, have the name of the crime on the side. What crimes will you uncork tonight? Okay, cool. So these are all just listing the different corks, but the Snoop Dogg wine is supposed to have its own sort of artwork on there, so that's going to be really cool to check out. Cool, and there's this tab here for living labels, so that is that app that you can download and allow for these labels to actually talk to you. Very nice. Okay, with that, let's pop the cork. Okay, so one of the other cool things about 19 Crimes is they really feature these pretty cool corks. So I want to get this guy open and see what it looks like here. Oh, that is so awesome. I don't know how well you can see that, but check this guy out here. That's got Snoop right there, and that is really, really a cool looking cork. Again, it's definitely about the presentation. I don't know if I maybe even just want to hang on to this and just feature it somewhere just because it looks so cool. A little gimmicky, but let's try the wine. On the capsule, you've got Snoop's signature right here, pretty cool, and then obviously you've got his Cali Red label, picture that comes to life, a little bit of wine information, and on the back it talks just a little bit about the story of 19 Crimes and defiance. That seems to be sort of their mantra, their theme. The one that I had in the Walgreens video was a little bit too sweet for me to keep drinking, and what I didn't realize was that some of these are even listed as semi-sweet, so I should have kind of done my research a little bit first. I don't know that this one is listed as semi-sweet, but what I do know is that it's a blend of Zinfandel and Petite Syrah, and those tend to be really jammy and fruity varietals. So let's see just how much of that sort of full body and jam we can pick up on this one. Okay, one thing that I can tell you right away is that this is super aromatic, so that's really impressive. I can just smell all of that fruit permeating from the glass. Really a good sign to start with. Taking a look at the color here, this is deeply concentrated in the glass. I completely lose my hand in the center of the bowl here, and then it has these really beautiful sort of purpley, purple red, purple violets coming out towards the rim here, pretty typical of an inkier sort of Zin or Petite Syrah. And as I turn my glass here, I can definitely, wow, look at that. You can definitely see some staining there, and you get a lot of these really thick sort of syrupy legs. It's leaving the sort of red residue and legs on the glass. Really pretty. That's going to be a sign of its body there. Okay, let's take the nose, and again, I can even smell it from right here, so that's pretty exciting. Oh, yeah, so the first thing that hits me, a lot of fruit. Yeah, this is all about the fruit, just black fruit, sort of your typical just jam and black fruit, blackberry jam, raspberry jam, hints of plumminess in there, and not too much else. I'm really not getting any like earth, or like sometimes there's peppery notes that tend to belong in Zins, sometimes there's leathery notes that can belong in Petite Syrah, and this is pretty straightforward with the fruit. Let's get it on the palate and see if I get anything else. Whoa, okay, so here's the thing. This is so pleasant. That is one thing that I think is consistent among these wines. They are so approachable and easy to drink. This envelops my palate really well. It is rich and velvety. I can just feel sort of a very light grip of tannin, not super strong and punch you in the mouth kind of tannin, but really easy tannin that just envelops the palate so well, and it just leaves you with a lengthy finish of fruit. So certainly I can't say that I am getting any more earth in there. Is this overly complex? No, not really. It's very straightforward, but a wine sometimes doesn't need to be super complex. It can be simple and straightforward and be perfect for what it is, and that's kind of what I'm getting out of this wine. It's mellow, it doesn't have high acidity, it doesn't have high alcohol content, it's not hot, it's just sort of sweet and rich and kind of what you would want an easy drinking red wine to be. Certainly it might not be something I want to have with like my favorite dinner. And lastly, the oak presence doesn't really like scream oakiness either. Maybe a little bit of like cedar and hints of vanilla on there, but it's a little indistinguishable from just the fruit and all the sweetness that comes out of it. Just be aware that it is going to be sort of a fruity sweet treat, not all the way to like a dessert wine, but just enough on there to make it really pleasant. And plus the bottle's just so cool. Okay, yeah, these might end up being a little bit too sweet. I think I might prefer this a little better as a sangria, but you know, there's nothing wrong with turning it into a sangria. At the end of the day, wine is meant to be enjoyed. Or isn't that right, Snoop?
Glasses up. Let's make a toast to success and nothing less. Yes, sir.
If you enjoyed what you saw here today, please leave me a like. That helps a lot. Be sure to share this video with your wine friends. And until next time, drink safe and drink well. Hey Snoop, you think this video is gonna get 1,000 likes?
I believed in myself when the world tried to train a dog not to. Gotta thank myself for that. I already did, but I'm gonna do it again.
Word.